Shalom, 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 shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Call Haloyim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Chakadosh Bakatam. And say double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. And say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. And say shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, to subscribe to the truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sab. You know, you're never left the spirit, the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. And I was just sitting back meditating and thinking about, certain things that's going on with me personally and what's going on within the body of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Like the elder said, one spirit, one baptism, God where that's in the scriptures, one doctrine, all that being said, I don't even know what I would call this. I'm thinking about it, like the Lord just put me through something, like scriptures say, trust in the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs chapter 3. And, I watched the Lord do something. And, at the end of the day, some things has been exposed, which is deep. Scripture tell you in the book of Luke chapter 12, no hidden thing or anything put in the dark. I'm butchering it. Thing hidden in the dark will come to the light, roughly paraphrase. Things in the dark should become. It's like I said, I'm butchering it. Book of Luke, chapter 12. This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 2, and it reads, "For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known." And, is that not so true? I was listening to a video the elder Uriah from Chicago did, and, I listened to it. It was a heavy video. It says the tenacity needed to be in this truth. And, he broke down the word tenacity, meaning the steadfastness. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up. Scriptures talk about in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, basically men standing in great boldness, and ultimately we haven't even really seen anything yet, because, you take Peter, for example. Peter was in the spirit to die for the Lord, but then what happened when the Lord was taken into custody? Peter denied him. We may think that we're ready or think we're capable of doing something. Maybe even think, that's what's scary about this truth. You really need to understand what you're part of, And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost, which I believe I know what I'm a part of, but the times are only going to get more trying, And, it's just really deep. But I'm saying all that to say, I'm going to the word tenacity. It says the quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly, grip the sheer tenacity of the limpet. And, the elders into, what's that? Not MMA. He's into jiu-jitsu. BJJ. Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I know a few of the brothers is into, martial arts or some kind of art, That's why I be laughing at 2/3 niggas. I'll be like, they just don't even know. They think it Jake Cordy because we read the scriptures, and you got men that will really fuck you all the way over with. You know what I'm saying? But and the elder went into that. He was like, pretty much he was using an analogy because he was sore from pretty much rolling and being that he's an older man. When you get older, you're not, that bounce back ain't like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? I can relate because I'm not the elder's age, but I'm not far from it. And saying all that to say this, when he's going into grip, you're talking about like, you got to hold fast to what you have. If you put in all this time and work into this truth, you need to hold fast to that. Again, Lord can bring you. The Lord can truly humble you. You know what I'm saying? And I could be gloating and smiling and laughing. Sometimes, I really like be talking through the Spirit. That's why I don't have no shame about what I say, on the mic. That's why I was being forthcoming and honest. I already know, I already could feel through the Spirit individuals are listening. Put it like that. And the sad part is, I don't want to see no man fall. But at the end of the day, the scriptures say, all of Israel is not of Israel. I would say this, I want mercy, so I'm willing to, or I want to be forgiven, so I'm willing to give forgiveness. You know what I mean? Again, like we all are deserving of death. But at the end of the day, it's not up to me. Ultimately, it's up to the Lord. And then you gotta actually realize if some individuals. I've had J. Cole do something against me, and like I said again, elder hit me with some. He ain't gotta apologize to you, and I'm like, God damn, you know how prideful that's all. Yeah. But again. We in this flesh, and then we grew up in Babylon. We products of Babylon. But as a man's supposed to be admitted when he's wrong. That's the whole thing when we repented and came back to the Lord. So if your fellow yokes, scriptures always, it's funny because brothers are always quick to talk about the brotherhood, yet and still brotherhood, like literally, but I never said this wasn't the truth. I knew the Lord was testing me. Again, I laid on the ground. I've seen the Lord really at work. You know what I mean? And again, it actually is a testament to how far I've come, and like just it's beautiful. You know what I mean? But the little test I just was able to go through, because my whole thing is this: if a man going off and he got that much pull and power, that can affect other men. You get what I'm saying? So it's actually a showing of mercy from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for that man to be corrected before he destroys himself and the congregation, right? So as opposed to gloating, scriptures talk about open rebuke is better than secret love. And the thing is, I didn't openly do it. I actually did everything like in order to a degree to like, all this happened for a reason. I even remember when Jake cussed me out. Normally, like they'll tell you, I got something to say. You know what I mean? But the Spirit told me don't say shit. And I even told the brother that. This thing is terrifying. You get what I'm saying? But I learned two things out of it. I'm going to follow a man when the Spirit telling me to follow him. I always bucked up because the Spirit kept on telling me. And you need to understand and recognize when the Spirit's speaking for real. Because again, I don't know what took place, but I know something took place. Put it like this. You know what I mean? Like I said, when the elders speak, I listen and I pay attention. You know what I mean? And I understand his levels of this thing, because if Jake can't see that, like the elder always says, it's lessons within lessons. Just like it's conversation within conversation. If you got the ears to hear it. But like he went into that word tenacity, like again, I could have did like, cause especially Babylon the Great make me emotional. So I could have got emotional, but again, I didn't, because at the end of the day, I looked at it like maybe I was deserving of it. I knew it was all the Lord. Put it like that. But that just again shows you need to understand when the Lord's speaking and what's going on, and you got to stay true to the Lord. And again, and that was just little. You know what I mean? Hell no, that didn't feel good. You know what I mean? None of that. But at the same time, I had already had it in my mind when I first came into truth. I didn't even think I would get in the camp. I was homeless. When Jake and them basically offered me to come in the camp, it kicked me off guard, because in my mind, I'm so low. I'm like, and then I'm really looking at these men as men, because I felt the Spirit. Like the beloved elder Apostle Tar said when they was at One West, he was like, as small as it was and how it looked, at, what I mean? I believe he used the word raggedy, or this little hole in the wall. He said he felt the Spirit of the Lord in there. With all that was taking place, I still felt the Lord dealing with me. But that was just a little like what's the word? A tiny I'm just use the word example of what we gonna have to face. You know what I mean? And when you presented with those situations where, like I said, when they come with the persecution, because like I said again, when I seen vocab, I knew a great persecution was coming. I knew something was taking place through the Lord because it wasn't just one individual doing some shit. It was like 3 elders. I'm like, what the fuck? And they all saying little shit. And I'm like, but the point of the lesson is, again, hopefully, it's not up to us, but hopefully, you know what I mean, a man is corrected before he's destroyed. You know what I mean? Because again, Jake was always thinking I'm jockeying for a position. I'm not jockeying for no position because I understand what that come with. When you in charge of other souls, the head of my camp told me about how one of the Jakes pretty much, he invited him into his house, looked up, and Jake was stealing from him. And the way he told me how he handled it, it kind of shocked me because he was like, pretty much, he's so concerned about his soul, that could be the Lord's test to him. He was like, that's why he didn't really just like 86 him or kick him out or anything. And I'm like, damn, that's deep. But you know what I mean? Like literally this is how sincere brothers is. But again, you also have to use discernment as well. You know what I mean? Like, because again, if a man gonna take the time that's just like if a Jake, I heard the elder brought up a situation about the one Jake that was in the camp. I was there too. That's why I was so adamant about the judgment thing. The first time I went to, pretty much, it was like the whole camp went. It was the first time I went to Chicago to met the elders was with the young brother, and then like I said, we all went as a camp, and I forgot how it happened, but brothers was all moving about, and I was with like 2 other brothers. I forget who all it was. It was a few of us that still was at the elder's house. And they didn't have to let us sit in, but they did. I recognized the elder was showing me something. I took it immediately through the spirit. He judged Jake right in front of us. He was looking out for Jake. Jake literally wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. I think he did something really unforgiving by like missing Passover. And the elder literally was letting him stay there, try to give him a job. He tried to set him up. And maybe that's what I should have caught. That's deep too. Because they say you think back on stuff, like the brothers did a video. I know the brothers is from Louisiana. They was talking about discernment, I think it was called Skill of Season, roughly paraphrased the name of the video. And he was going into how, like you discern it and judging everything. If you decide not to listen to somebody, like for instance, the Lord put the spirit on me to tell you something, you decide not to, you judge not to pay attention to me. So, long story short, that he was, like say, the elder tried to help Jake, and Jake pretty much spit in his face. So the one brother, Banya, and he's a cool young brother. Salute to that brother. Bear with me for a second. Salakia, but the brother Banya pretty much felt sorry for him and showing you how your emotions can get you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But I remember him taking him in, and then come to find out, I heard a story about he did some like foul shit with Jake, one of his Eves or his Eve or some shit like that, and then literally something happened where the house burned down, and I was like, damn, that's how much of a demon he had on him. Jake. So, like I learned early on that, like I caught it one time. I be calling myself trying to fast, and Jake could be offering you alcohol, or offering you something, what I mean? And Jake not knowing, but it's spirits, you know what I mean? Brother made mention of it one time. I always used to say, the Akim, travel to, when they in a low spirit, it lifts up their spirit, it gets spirits off of them. But sometimes Jake or brothers can put spirits on you. And a brother once told me, he said, and both of them can happen. Sometimes you can get spirits put on you and taken off on you at the same time. But some long effects, I've never had that. But saying all that to say this, the scriptures talk about the Lord being merciful. And, when correction comes, that's mercy. You know what I mean? Because, again, I know I'm not the most pleasant person to talk to. Maybe that's what, that was a stumbling block for Jake. You know what I mean? But at the same time, again, I grew up a certain kind of way. And then the funniest part is Jake like that. But I will say this, Jake is so much of a strong individual. He literally was able to work on his temper. And you know how difficult it is to change something that it's easy to talk about you want to change, but it's difficult to do it. You get what I'm saying? So with all that being said, I could, like I say, be gloating and whatnot, but I don't want to gloat because, like I said, there's too many men that I do have love for that, could have been affected by if Jake going off or whatnot. So hopefully, Jake take the correction and mend his way, because, like I said again, you keep her or not keep her, but he's pretty much a shepherd of their souls, and that's love. You know what I mean? What's that? John chapter 13. This is the book of John chapter 13. And verse 34 the point. No, verse 35 is the point. Verse 34, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Verse 35, by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. And that's the number one commandment, right? Love thy neighbors, thy love thyself. Somewhere in between is Jake then forgot about that. And again, like I said, I don't know who I am. I don't know if I'm of the chosen. I don't know, I know I've been called, like we all have. That's what we do the work. Again, I don't even know if this is going to help, but I watched the elder do a video, and he was talking about pretty much, matter of fact, let me look at the title of it, because that's what literally inspired me to do this lesson. Right your wrongs today. Something as simple as apology is something, and that's another thing of being a man. A man can admit when they fucking went off or was wrong. You know what I mean? This is the book of Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 5, and it reads, an open rebuke, I'm reading it in the LT. An open rebuke is better than hidden love.
Strong's H8433. Tochecha. Tochecha.
Says rebuke.
And second entry. Tochacheth. Tochacheth.
It says rebuke, correction, reproof, punishment, chastisement, argument, reproof, argument, impeachment, reproof, chiding, correction, rebuke. So again, when you rebuke an elder, you're supposed to rebuke them in a certain kind of way. Out of respect. It tells you that in the scriptures about how you supposed to deal with an elder. And although I didn't, get dealt with a certain kind of way, but at the same time, I look back on it, I've noticed in this truth how you tend to do something, it's what tends to happen back to you. I noticed that with children too. Certain things that I did, I'm getting back to my kids. Lord code. Saying all that to say this, we all may be in need of correction. Are you going to actually take the time to listen to the correction? Are you going to be accepting of the correction? Because that is wherein lies all the power, And sometimes Jake be thinking Jake getting on. I've been in that situation. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, you know, and none of us got it. You know what I mean? Again, ain't nobody got no guaranteed seat on the chariot. And if you move in that spirit, you know, then like I say, either you know, you must know something I don't know. Maybe you cooler with the Most High than me, because the scriptures say the elect are going to be scarcely saved. So when you realize you're going off, you know, you should ask the Lord for correction. You know what I mean? Because the Lord don't really need none of us, no matter, you know. Sometimes, you know, that's the scary part about it. Like I said, like I remember one of the brothers from Chicago making mention of that. He said the Lord could bring a man that he knows is not of the elect into the truth, all for his destruction and demise. Sometimes the Lord done put men in positions of power, all for, you know. That's why power is a dangerous thing, you know. That's why I often say, you know, brothers is actually awaiting and believe, like, to get spiritual power, you're gonna have to be a very special individual. You know what I mean? The Lord ain't just giving a nigga no spiritual power. The book of Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse. Let's start at verse 23, and it reads, "I know, Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that our lives are not our own. We are not able to plan our own course." This is in the NLT. "So correct me, Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, but please be gentle. Do not correct me in anger, for I would die." So, you know what I mean? Again, embarrassment you can get over. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be judged, though. Because, you know, the judgment can be final, you know? Yeah. And like I said, I've seen brothers put in work. I've seen, you know, again, you know, we all fall short, though. You know what I mean? That's why pride is such a dangerous thing, you know. And like I said, I always think about the elder brother Michael Allah from California. He made the statement, and it was like, damn, it just resonated with my spirit. He said he prayed to the Lord that he keep pride far from him, because it's easy to get puffed up in this thing. You know, I remember I was talking to this chick, you know, because like I said, one day I was just bored and the spirit had me, like, I never do that shit, but I use Facebook Marketplace a lot, you know, and, you know, it ain't that I like are paranoid or afraid to speak to females. I really like be thinking some fucked up shit, you know what I mean? And then like the last thing right now, like a brother made mention of, you know, we looking for the end of this kingdom. We shouldn't be looking for no woman, but you know, at the same time, if the Lord bless you with one, you know what I mean? You never know. Like everybody, like the elder brother Ayash from Mississippi made a statement. He said, the Lord is setting up your house. You know what I'm saying? Jake might come across a female that literally believe, but ain't got no man, and the Lord got that, you know, like Sarah and Tobias. Salakia, forgot the last statement I made. I'm trying to, you know, deal with these spirits in here and whatnot. But with that all being said, you know, again, like I said, we all, you know, we could all lose our way to a degree, you know what I mean? And that's nothing to gloat about or laugh, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if the spirit on you, you laugh, that's the spirit of the Lord, you know? But my spirit, I didn't take it like that, because again, like I say, you know, I listened to the Elder D-Mash make a statement. He said, you know, if he's making other brothers better, what is wrong with you? So, you know, so again, like I say, you know, maybe it ain't him going completely off. Maybe, you know, that's why it's so important to fast and pray often. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just do that around the Day of Atonement. You know, like I said, I get fucked with by a lot of spirits. So I used to be constantly every couple of weeks doing a fast. You know what I mean? Because a spirit could jump on you at any time. This thing is no joke. And like I said again, the more and more we get closer to the end, the more and more you're gonna see that. If the Lord just did that through brothers and showing you how, like that should wake your ass up to something like, damn. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, the book of Sirach, chapter 16, and the point is verse 12. I'm gonna start at verse 11. And if there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is marvel if he escape unpunished. For mercy and wrath are with him. He is mighty to forgive and to pour out displeasure. Yeah, that's one of them. I remember I read that and I ended up seeing a guy get hit by a car. I thought dude was dead. So I called the police while it's spiritual too, because it was a Northern Kingdom dude. It's an Edomite hit this Jake. Jake was right across the street. I hear it. Or I think I seen it. I'm driving to work. Or I'm driving from work. I can't remember. I was driving either coming to work. I think I was going to work though. And I see Jake get hit by a car. Boom. So I pull up, I check on him. He out cold. I'm thinking Jake dead. It's a Northern Kingdom brother. He pull out. He like, man, the Edomite tried to take off. He jump in the car and chase him. So I call the police. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking Jake dead. And he wake up out of it. And I was like, damn. And I thought of that scripture because I read that scripture earlier that day. And then it was so spiritual. We, like maybe 2 weeks later, we out camping and the same Jake Northern Kingdom brother pulled up at the corner where we was preaching at. I'll reread it. And if there be one stiff-necked among the people, it is a marvel if he escape unpunished, for mercy and wrath are with him. He is mighty to forgive and to pour out displeasure. Verse 12, as his mercy is great, so is his correction also. He judgeth a man according to his works. So you don't be, again, the Lord said he gonna have mercy on who he want to have mercy on. You know, a man can go off and look at like his examples and accounts in the scriptures. But at the same time, you rather be corrected through a brother before the Lord actually get. I just read it. It said, as his mercy is great, so is his correction also. And I've been corrected by the Lord. You don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, you know. And if you set up to do this, like I forgot who made mention of it. It might have been an elder. Somebody was like, well, pretty much, the Lord could, he could touch you, but just make it more difficult for you to have to do the work. Because like a lot of brothers who've been in the spirit was making that statement. If you've been in the truth for a minute, you've heard it. There's a movie called Blood In, Blood Out. So this worse than the gang. And I already, again, that's why it used to kill me when Jake, Jake in a higher position, be like, oh, well, the Lord, before I even came into the truth, the Lord took me through like something that I know a lot of, and I'm not saying my eyes are just all, what I'm saying is the Lord took me through something. I, didn't know the scriptures at all, but I knew the Lord told me through the spirit, like he'll kill me if I go back in the world. So the last thing I want to do is go back into the world. I'd rather just, try to take myself out of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so if I got to go out there on the highways and hedges by myself, that's what it's going to be. But through the spirit, I really feel that we ain't got that much longer. They about to come with great persecution. I can't tell you when, I really thought that they was really going to do something crazy on the election day. And they was making threats, but they ain't do nothing. That's why I see why the elders and certain brothers speak the way they speak. But you can just feel it through the spirit. Something major is about to happen. So, I don't see us having no 10 more years. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, think about it. You know what I mean? They doing too much of it. Like the elder brother Aron from Men of Valor just did a video talking about like, now digital IDs is pretty much mandatory next year. They moving fast. And just like the last time that devil was in office, where he moved fucking fast with that warp speed shit, You know, he's already kind of telegraphing what he's doing. He already hiring his cabinet. You know what I mean? Majority of them is ish people. You know. So we all need as much mercy as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. Homelessness during the holiday. That's a video. The city mission helps those in need find hope for a brighter future. Fuck the city mission. Then the funny part is that's supposed to be a church-based place, right? But the guy that run that bitch, he'll tell you he don't believe in the Bible. He said it's certain. He one of them. There's certain things in the Bible. You know what I mean? Look, you know, because it's common sense or it's good. How did he word it? It's good. You know, you got individuals that will pretty much not believe in the scriptures, but will say how Proverbs is a lot of good wisdom. Basically, that's what he said. You know, it's a lot of good principles in it, but you know, he doesn't believe. That's what's that, Romans chapter 3? So what if something I believe? The fuck, motherfuckers like that. I hope the Lord like wake up and kill again. So I'm gonna end it with this scripture. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 13. I'm gonna start at verse 12. Proverbs 28 and verse 12. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsake them have mercy. Happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. I'm going to reread this in the NLT. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 28 verse 12 in the NLT. When the godly succeed, everyone is glad. You know, what's that? What movie is that? A Christmas Carol? I can't think of what it is, but when he's like, when an angel, every time something happened, the angel gets his wings or something like that. So when a man that's going off, that's, you know, of the hopeful elect, is going off, pretty much he realizes where he's going off, and he comes back, you know, to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that makes the brotherhood rejoice. You know, it's like two paths. You know, when the Lord presents information to you, you know what I mean, you could choose to accept it or reject it. You know what I learned in this truth again, and I seen that with the young brothers. You know, that's why I've been making this statement as of lately. The elect. I remember when the elder brothers used to say that, and I didn't really get what they were saying. But then I used to say, shalom to all the sincere brothers, and he didn't get what I was saying. But, you know, when you take the time, if you think I'm a man of the Lord and I tell you take the time, because I don't have to take the time. I've watched Jake not give a fuck about what you got going on. You can run into a wall of all the characters. They more concerned about what the fuck they got going on. But if you really a keeper of the Lord's house, and if you really have care for, because, you know, you got to think about it. King David, you know, he was the king, right? So, you know, what did the scriptures tell you? That pretty much he basically kept over his flock. He made sure that none got taken away. He made sure of that. If you got a mindset that you don't care, how the fuck can you, why would you, you know what I mean? But again, I could be going off, you know. Again, mercy was a big thing in the camp. And I know, you know, I always thought that Jacob be on some heavy on judgment when he became the head, you know, and I was wrong, you know. But he's, you know, it's two sides to everything. Everything is a balance. So you can't be all mercy and waiting for the Lord to judge something. Because you know what kind of fucking situation? That's like if you let your children just do whatever the fuck they want in the room. You know, after I make my children clean up every day, and if I don't still come check, they'll literally, if I don't come double check it, they'll have shit in their You know what I mean? Like, so what does the scripture talk about? A child left unchecked is becomes willful, roughly paraphrased. You gotta know the state of your fucking flock. Salakia. Proverbs chapter 28 and verse 12. But the statement I was trying to make was pretty much, if you consider me a man of the Lord and I give you some advice, shouldn't you consider like the Lord was speaking? And I always heard Jake speak on that and say that. I have heard young brothers tell me stuff, and literally you'd be surprised. Like when the young brother said the elders was gonna know about vocab coming down there. And that's why I keep on speaking on it. Because the Lord speaks to all the men that's doing his work. What the fuck? I think certain Akim, because of them positions, go to their head and they forget that. Says, when the godly succeed, everyone is glad. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. People who conceal their sins will not prosper, but if they confess and turn from them, they will receive mercy. Blessed are those who fear to do wrong, but the stubborn are headed for serious trouble. So, a willful child that don't want to repent, the Lord gonna judge, So Lord willingly, this is edifying, because again, like the elder did a video, pretty much my memory is super horrible. So it says, rewrite your wrongs today. All you gotta do is repent, and like I said, again, I forgive every brother that I felt wronged me. I mean, I think about it, but I mean, we in these bodies, you know what I mean? At the end, I went off of the truth, as many times as I could have got kicked out, you know what I mean? That was mercy on that brother. It was ultimately the will of the Lord, but that was the mercy. Because again, we all, actually brothers that know that brother, know what kind of spirit it could be in, you know what I mean? And for that brother to literally like get that merciful, but somewhere alongside like you, because the thing is this, if the Lord put you in a position, the judgment coming through you, the judgment that coming through you is from the Lord, right? Right. I understand you may not want to judge a matter incorrectly, so you're going to just let anything take place? Like the elder brothers was doing that video that they said, shit, we all different stones that all build the one building, but we all supposed to be the same type of material. If you got a stone that's of this and then stone that's of that, and you're not of the same material, what kind of foundation you gonna have? What kind of building this gonna be? And trust me, I can relate to Jake because, I got a whole bunch of shit going on. That's why I was always amazed when they was like, I'm jealous of him. What really fucked my head up is I'm like, damn, y'all supposed to be on such a high level. How can't you see this shit? So I'm in the lesson. Lord willingly, it was edifying. May the Lord have mercy on who he gonna have mercy on, though. Because if it ain't mercy for you, then, what do you want me to say? At the end of the day, may the Lord have mercy on his elect. So with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Elohim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth to you. I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwam Yasharallah. Shalom.